Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Red Pill Podcast number 73. I hope you're all having an incredible weekend. It is the 33rd week of the year coming to an end today. There's a lot to go over. I know we had a bigger pullback happen a couple days ago, so we're going to be getting into everything today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a recap over some of the technical analysis on the Dow Jones because we went over that in my last decode that I shared called the Jubilee Decoded. And I believe it's definitely something to go over again because we're really coming close to an identical fractal of what we've seen in the prior Shemitah cycles. So I appreciate every single one of you for showing up today. Get relaxed, grab yourself something to drink. If it's the morning, get some coffee or tea. If it's the nighttime, glass of wine, beer, beverage of your choice. And let's get right into it. So first and foremost, I hope everyone enjoyed that Jubilee Decoded video. It was about an hour long, really packed full of a lot of information, covering what to anticipate between now and late September when we approach Rosh Hashanah, which is September 26th, and then how we're going to sort of analyze the remainder of the year, going through October's eclipse and then early November's eclipse around November 7th into November 8th. So I also have a really fascinating connection to share with you guys, and it was something that I shared probably 2 weeks ago, so I gave it to everyone in advance, but it came to life. So I really want to go over that because it shows you just how incredible this code is. There's really something magical about this Gematria Numerology application to the market. It just takes, patience, and it takes an open mind. And I believe that's what this community has that most communities don't. So again, I appreciate and I'm grateful for every single one of you. It's just amazing to see everyone working together and the incredible energy we have, no matter if the market has a bigger pullback or, a little bit of a pump. You guys are just incredibly focused, and it's really a beautiful thing to see, especially in all asset classes, crypto being the most volatile and unfortunately the most childish and unsophisticated. And, that's what really makes this community above and beyond the rest. So always grateful to see whenever I check in on the Discord and everyone just helping each other out, whether it's TA or decoding or just general questions. It's really amazing. So if you're hearing this and you're brand new here and you haven't gotten Discord access yet, just go ahead and send me a direct message on Patreon with your Discord username and the last 4 numbers after your username, and I'll reply back in a Patreon message with your Discord invite. That's the only way that we could do it. And then I appreciate everyone for submitting their coins last week for us to review on this week. So keep that coming, guys. Go ahead and leave a comment in this Patreon post, just in the comment section of this post, and leave an altcoin that you want me to review next week. And whatever coin gets the most thumbs up are the ones that I go over. I pick about 4 coins every week. This episode, we're going to be going over Cardano, Singularity Net, Shiba Inu, a crowd favorite, and Decentraland, Mana. So we're going to be going over those 4, as well as, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a little bit of TA on XRP if needed. But with that being said, just go ahead and leave a comment of the coin you'd like me to review next week. And another thing that I would appreciate if everyone could practice is before you write the coin you want me to review, just make sure that I haven't gone over it recently. There's a search function inside of the Patreon and the Discord as well. It's really easy if you wanted to use the search function to see when I'm posting. All you got to do is type into the search bar my name. So it'll say user, you type in Waters Above, you'll see my name pop up. Click on that, and then just go ahead and start writing in the coin that you want me to look at. Let's just say it's Quant. And you're going to notice that it'll show you when I last wrote Quant into Discord, and 99% of the time, if it's a name of a cryptocurrency, it's because I'm doing a Red Pill podcast. So that's a really easy way, because we've been getting a lot of people lately asking for me to go over the same projects, like projects that I've done within the last month or 2, and there's just no need for the repetitive nature of that. So I know everyone means well. And again, this is super chill, but I'm just saying this because I don't want the coin that you're asking me to review to get all these votes and then I just don't go over it because, we just went over it 3 weeks ago. I don't want it to be a disappointment for anyone. I really just want it to be, a good experience. So again, just use the search function if needed. If you're unaware of how to use it, just ask somebody in the Discord to help you out. So again, Discord invite. If you would like, just send me a message over on Patreon and I will help you out with that. And then submit your coins for review in the comments section of the Patreon post, and let's get right into it. So one last update before we get into some of the dates and some of this TA on the Dow Jones. A lot of people have been asking me about the upcoming Patreon membership, which is called Expansion Group Coaching. So just to make things clear, the Expansion Group Coaching Patreon membership is different from my Expansion Mastermind course, but like I promised, anyone who upgrades to that expansion group coaching will be getting the new course for free. It is included. It is actually about 85% of the cost of the coaching program is covered through just getting, that with the course. So it is the best value I've ever offered. It's going to be a very exclusive membership. The course itself, again, it is discounted 20% for the people who just want the course. You guys over here on Patreon, you get the best discount. It comes out to around $200. So it is going to be packed full of value. I am really close to finishing everything up, and I'm going to start filming it and putting it on my website very soon. Like I said, the release date will be September 1st. It's a non-crypto course, but it's packed full of information. I have over probably 400 slides just between the first 6 chapters, and there's 9 chapters. So I'm just getting around to really dialing in the chapter called Heal Thyself, which is going to be going over a lot of things with fasting and detoxification and hydration and supplementation and workout programs, losing weight, gaining muscle, all of that stuff. So it's really packed full of value. And if anyone wants more information and you would like to watch the sample video that I released, I believe I've gone over it in my last Red Pill podcast, but all you got to do is just go to watersabove.com/expansion sample. And it's a 20-minute video. It's packed full of information, but I'm going to be making a video earlier this upcoming week about specifically the expansion group coaching program, what's going to be included with that, how the Discord is going to be set up. Again, it is an upgrade of Trading Wolves. So Trading Wolves is essentially an upgrade from Mastermind Community. So it includes everything that's below it. So anyone who gets the expansion group coaching, you're going to be getting everything from Trading Wolves and this current Mastermind Community membership. It is including all things. So you're going to have 3 different Discords built into that by default. It's going to be really incredible. I'm so excited to do it. And 2 coaching calls per month. So anyways, I'll let everyone know about all that information next week. Let's get into this. So before I get into any dates, I just want to review a couple of these fractals from the Dow Jones going back to this 2008 cycle and then this current cycle and then 1973. So really quickly, let's just look at the current price. So you can see I have a Fibonacci retracement tool pulled from the all-time high currently down to the swing low, and then this is on a logarithmic chart with the Fib settings in log as well. So what I mean by that is after I create the Fib, I just go over here to settings. I scroll down. Let me adjust this really quickly. I scroll down and you could see the last thing. It's checked off. It says Fib levels based on log scale. So whenever you hear me saying that, it's because that's how I have it set up. And I like to do this in a more macro perspective. So whenever I'm doing really big swings, in a bearish sense, or whenever I'm doing macro analysis, I like having the Fib set up with the log setting on in the Fib setting. And whenever I'm doing more short-term, really volatile stuff regarding cryptocurrency, especially when we're more bullish, that's when I like to turn that setting off and just leave regular log scale. And that allows me to get the upside levels. So I go over that very thoroughly actually in my exit strategy blueprint. And the exit strategy blueprint is built into my mastermind course, my crypto mastermind course. So any information regarding that, I mean, you guys have seen quite a bit the switch, because moreover, like 6 months ago or before that, we've been doing this now about, wow, a year and a half. That's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I used to really just play around with the fib settings without the log turned on. But lately, because the market has shifted energy and it's given us a new kind of structure, I've changed things up. Now, this has been a pretty big breakthrough for my work, because it's been helping substantially with knowing bottom side levels. And I mean, any Red Pill podcast you watch, you're going to see me finding the price move naturally down to the 1618 on the downside. But with this bullish pull, I'm seeing a pattern here where we like to get into the golden pocket and somewhere near the 702. And that's a big reason why I manually add in the 702 fib. It's been super helpful in my work. Pretty much adding in the 702 and adding in the 888 have given me a lot of accuracy when using the fibs. So some of you that might watch other people's work, perhaps when you look at some of my fib settings or some of my exponential moving averages or anything like that, it might be something you haven't seen before, but that's because I do my own TA. I'm not influenced by anyone else's TA. I do it very unique and creatively, and I've designed something that has worked for me. So coming up into this region is actually kind of a red flag, and I'm going to show you why. So over here, this is the fractal going back to 2008. And you can see this is what we call the housing crisis, the subprime mortgage. And then this swing high to swing low, it's actually giving us something pretty damn similar. We got up into slightly below the 618, which is rejection right below the golden pocket. And then we went on for a dead cat bounce. And that is actually what I've been saying this whole time. I've been saying any relief rally regarding if it's Dow Jones or ETH or anything, really, I am more anticipatory of a dead cat bounce than I am of anything else. And that is just the nature of a market that hasn't fully had a pullback. Regarding all the altcoins and all the stocks, I mean, you have to take it for what it is. The volatility will be different depending on the market cap. So when we're looking at something like the Dow, seeing rejections into the lower 702 area or right below the 618, that's not good. That is typically when you anticipate a retest of the lows, which we would call a double bottom. But the moment you break through those lows, and you could see it happened right here. If I zoom in really close, this was the weekly closure level. So I'm going to show you guys just the technical analysis on this. Once we close the weekly below that, after the rejection, that was when the dead cat bounce initiates. And you see what happens when it breaks through, it overextends, comes back up into this level, gets rejected. It wants to consider it a resistance now instead of what was a potential support. And then it just gets even more bloody, we keep going. So I hope that helps you guys anticipate what could be coming next. And I've already shared that in the Jubilee Decoded, the odds of a move down into the this lower area down here. And please watch that video because I don't want to waste anyone's time on this. So then we have this 1973 fractal, which again, I've been telling everyone that I anticipated this 2023 year to be considered Jubilee, because I look at 1973 as Jubilee. And that was just because of the economic climate we had, the environment and everything. And Jubilee only works in 50-year cycles. The problem with Jubilee is no one knows exactly when it is. And the other problem with Jubilee is things take time in this world, Even like the C word, when it really started to kick up on the global stage, I mean, it took some time. We had Event 201 back in November of 2019. And then it took all the way until like late February for like Canada, America, Australia to really wake up to it. But if you were keeping in touch more with, what was going on in Taiwan and China and Japan and, even some isolated places around Southeast Asia, you already kind of had an inkling that something was on the horizon. Okay. So these things take time. I know it sounds kind of wonky to say that We never know when Jubilee is, but the reason is because it is not common conversation. Not even the rabbis or the high priests know. Time is very peculiar in the sense that it ripples, and the timekeepers don't ever let us know what the real year is, or they don't even let us know what our world really looks like. You know how many continents probably exist outside of what we're calling the known world? Yeah, it's obviously secret. So I don't want to get too onto that, because after all, we're trying to go over the TA here, but I just want to let people know, because I prefaced this inside of the Jubilee Decoded, where I said, if you go out of your way to research Jubilee, the odds are you're going to find it spoken about in 2015. That was when it was really like talked about. And that was the more exoteric stuff. There was a guy that was, I don't know if he was a rabbi or something connected to, Judaism at a higher level of the organization, but essentially he was making content about the Shemitah. And I was introduced to it like probably 8 months after I started talking about it. And I forgot the man's name. I know we tried remembering his name like 3 months ago. I still don't. I just don't have the time to research anything right now. I'm too busy with my own stuff. But he was the one that was really perpetuating this idea that Jubilee was in 2015. And because it was popular and he had a lot of following, the whole world regarding that conversation just sort of blindly accepted it. I contest that. The man who is sharing the information doesn't really know too much about economics. He has no idea really about astrology and all of that. Or maybe he does and he just never talked about in his work. And I'm not saying this to speak negatively on him. I'm just saying that here in this community, we have a lot more tools at our disposal than the average person who's asleep. So the word Shemitah, even that is quite rare to hear, but it's not completely hidden. It is known. The exact date of the Jubilee, that is unknown. All we have is the fact that it is celebrated on the 50th year after 7 cycles of 7 sabbatical years. So that's 49 years, and on the 50th year, we have Jubilee. So look at the structure of this swing high down to the swing low there into the end of Shemitah. You could see kind of this time frame right here was August into September. And then at the end of Shemitah, we actually pumped all the way up to the 702. So remember, the golden pocket into the 702. I'm going to reset this. You can see here, big pullback, moving up slightly below the 702. And then we have this cycle right here. We have coming up right into the bottom of the 618, the golden pocket. Let's go to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, 702, rejection, boom. Let's see what happened here. Rejection perfectly at the 702. Yeah. Okay, you get the point, right? So, yeah, I mean, I am anticipating obviously more downside for the indices because the Dow hasn't even gotten close to what it typically likes to correct to. And that cycle could take longer than Bitcoin and XRP and cryptos. Crypto is probably going to move in half the time. But this is telling me that this is probably topped out, especially on the daily. We're getting RSI levels oversold into 76. I mean, that's not normal, guys. This isn't crypto. So look at this level right here. That's 76. You can see every time we peek into that, we get bigger rejections. I mean, the last time we really started getting above that was 2017. All right. And we hit all-time highs into like a very parabolic bull run into early 2021. Look at that. So we've hit new high RSI levels on the daily going back all the way to literally 2018. This is a sign that I think the Dow is topped out at best. Maybe it could come up to 34,000 points at best. But I think this shit's going to roll over. I think it's going to be a dead cat bounce. It's going to get bloody. And that's my level right there. 25, 27 is probably going to be on the closures because when it has big moves. Like you'll see the very wick lows are obviously extreme, but my point is that I think this thing's going to come down to 25, and that would be a full 46% correction. Oh, sorry. No, not even close. Damn, this can go much lower. But yeah, my technical target first on the initial bigger pull would probably be somewhere into this region. That's odd, though, that it isn't that much of a percentage. Yeah, like around there. That would make a ton of sense into that region. Yeah, right there. That'd make a lot of sense. And I mean, it could obviously go lower into this C-word crash. But the issue with the C-word crash is you can see right there, we have a little bit of a touch. And once this broke that liquidity zone, I mean, it was a very, very quick recovery, guys. So we're talking about like, what, 2-3 weeks? I mean, any big dumps like this, it's going to be quick. So who cares how low it goes? The point is that it's a buying opportunity. I mean, if this does this, then that means Tesla stock, everything, it's going to take a shit. Especially with how inflated these ghost corporations are. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I know I went over it very thoroughly, but there was some confusion, some questions people had, and I just wanted to share, like, I think we're at a turning point, and how weird is it that we're in the 33rd week of the year, and the Dow closes into 33,000 points, and XRP also hit 33 cents. I mean, what? You know, like, does anyone need to prove anymore that this market is fixed? It's just fixed by code and numbers. So I hope that all helps you guys out a little bit. Let's go over a couple dates really quickly. Again, we're still in the 33rd week. I made a video. I said to everyone, watch out for the 33rd week of the year. We saw what it brought. I mean, even though we have the new moon in 7 days, it does not matter. These numerological connections are equally, if not more important than just considering the lunar cycle. So that's why we do everything here. It's important to consider all those things. But let's go to this date of the 19th because that was the date of the bigger drop. And if we connect this actual date to the last day of Rosh Hashanah, you can see it was exactly 11 months, 11 days, the 11-11. And I believe I brought this up already. Now, let's go over to this chart right here, and you're going to see something really amazing. So this might look a little bit sloppy, so excuse me. Let's go to daily. Let's turn off these moving averages. All right. It's a little cleaner now. Okay, I want you to look up here where my cursor is. Now I'm hovering over this, and you could see when I hover over this candle, it's giving me 10.17. Well, in numerology, when you remove the zeros, 10.17 is 117, like 7-11. And remember, the eclipse that's coming up in November is on the 7th of November. And Bitcoin equals 117. I wrote the wrong thing. It should be a reverse cipher, actually. If I remember correctly, it's a reverse cipher. Reverse ordinal. 117. So how incredible is that the candle price move down was 10.17, and that is the 117. Bitcoin equals 117, and the upcoming eclipse is 117. And we made so many connections to that 117 date regarding this current recent, last couple of days. So we had 220. The 220 being the 22, and then we had this date being the 22 date numerology, and the day before that being the 222, 2 months, 2 months and 22 days. Amazing. So this is pretty incredible to see how even a percentage move can play itself through the code. And let's share couple more things. Wait, what's going on here? Let's get to August and go to today and connect it to Rosh Hashanah. So as most of you guys are aware, most of the time I'm connecting things to big significant dates, either in the Hebrew calendar or specific numerological dates. And I definitely like to focus on this upcoming eclipse. I mean, either the October eclipse or the November eclipse, both being quite important. So Now, this 19th date, we said a couple things about in prior video. I was talking about the 134 and that being the anagram of pi, like coming full circle. We know that pi is very important. Then also that being that 69 date numerology and that 69 coming back to Saturn. We spoke about that, as well as this being the transition date, the 18th moving into the 19th if you're in Australia or New Zealand. So it's always like a little bit of a window of time as well. The all-time high for Bitcoin, which was $69,000, happened on the 314th day of the year, which is, again, 134, 314. And if you connect these dates, you can see it is 9 months and 9 days, the 99, which again connects back to Jupiter 99. I mean, that is super significant. Even here with this 40 and 42 connection, we know the 24 and the 42 matches the Jupiter and Saturn connection, and you get that 24 right there. This was a very important date, this 19th into 20th, and it's not shocking, the fact that we got a lot of volatility on that date, especially the exact percentage moves that we got. Again, it was in the 33rd week, and we saw XRP hitting 33 cents. We'll get into that, the TA on that in a moment as well. So one other thing to mention about this upcoming week is if you connect this to Rosh Hashanah, you're going to see August 24th is actually 33 days. So this is another 33, guys. I mean, I believe I probably spoke about this a couple weeks ago as well, but I like to prepare you guys as far in advance as possible. This 33, it keeps showing up throughout this whole time frame. And if you go to the next day, the 25th, so that means the 24th is the transition into the 25th, and you're getting 1 month and 1 day, the 11, or 4 weeks and 4 days, the 44. So big dates. As we get closer and closer and closer to being in Elul and Tishri, which is this date right here, we're definitely going to have a shift in energy in the market. So the 26th, a couple other things to discuss, the 22 date numerology. These are just smaller things, but this is a bigger connection. 31 days, the number 31 is the 11th prime number. So we have that 11 prime, which is a master number. Then we have the 22, which is the date numerology. That is also a master number. We have it being the transition date from the 25th, which is the 11, the master number. And then we have the 4 weeks and 4 days, that is a power number. Very crazy, man. And this will be in the 34th week of the year. So anything in the 32nd or 34th, those are the encroaching weeks to that 33rd week. It's just a window of energy. And next week ends on the date of the new moon. So keep that in mind. Right around that date of the new moon, it'll be on a Saturday, Saturn's Day. Oh, I have a very important connection to show you. Let me just drink a little bit of coffee. I'm really glad that I brought that up. How the actual new moon date right here is going to be, right there. It's going to be on a Saturday. And next Saturday is the 77 date numerology and the 23 standard date numerology, which matches Rosh Hashanah. We have that 77, 23, 77, 23 as well. We have this being the 4 weeks and 2 days, that 42, and it is on a Saturn day, the day of Saturn, and Saturn giving us 42. Okay? You can see that 4 weeks, 2 days, that's the 42, connecting to Saturn, that's the 42. The new moon is on a Saturn day, and it's connected with the same exact date numerology as Rosh Hashanah. So let's see what new moon gives us. Oh, there you go. New moon giving. So new moon giving you that 9936. These are the same ciphers as Jupiter. Same. You can see that right there. Jupiter new moon 99, 36, 90, and you got the 27s, which I don't love to cross cipher, but it is just amazing. We have 3 out of, wow. Crazy. So there you go, guys. This is going to be a very interesting setup because I would not be surprised. And of course, this really depends on the structure. I would have to perceive maybe the 2-week closes and the months to see what's happening here. So we have a 2-week close right around the monthly close. Bi-weekly closes are big. And then we have this being opened on the start of September. That would be your bi-month. Okay. So this close that's coming up, this monthly close that's approaching us, is going to be very important because it's a 2-month close. It is right around the bi-weekly close, which is a couple days before that. Yep. Weekly close is essentially within a couple days. 5-day close is on the same day as all of, yeah. So this is going to be a pivot. It has to be. That's just the way this market kind of works. So it would not be surprising to me if this was a rollover into some of these targets, and then that would be your final move at the end of Rosh Hashanah. I could almost see them repeating Rosh Hashanah. Like, look at this structure with all of this off. Okay, so you have arduous sideways, decent move up, kind of sideways after a bigger dump, moving up. Then you have right around here your August 9th into August 14th pivot. We actually did have a slowdown. So you could see this candle right here was minus 6.53%. It's the same week. It's pretty much the same week. Now, there is a structural difference, but the market was much different back then. The market was much more bullish, had much more retail. It was just a completely different energy. So this structure is definitely something that is mimicking more like this bottoming structure here or that bottoming structure there. But I'm just interested how we're seeing a slightly bullish August thus far. A little bit of a pullback. You know, you got that 6. Oh, snap. So right now, the market was just down minus 7.77%. If you pause the video right now, you could see it. That would be so hilarious if they end this week down 7.77 to the jackpot number. And that would be hilarious too, because today is the 21st of August and 21 is 7 plus 7 plus 7. All right, I gotta move on, but you guys get the point. Huge connections here regarding the 33rd week of the year. We should have all anticipated volatility. Obviously, when the market is in this sort of energy, it's more likely for market volatility to the downside than the upside. I was pretty adamant about how I'm anticipating holding the 21K level before continuation to the downside. I was talking about this prior area here, maybe spoke about it in a couple episodes. The fact that we came right back down to that level is a technical thing, so I think it's probably the best for us to get into that right now. So you can see I have it nice and color coordinated for you guys. This one is discussing this trend line right here, this downsloping resistance line. And you can see rejection, rejection, rejection. And then we could pretty much be within reason of rejection here, reason of rejection. And then we broke above it. And now we could really confirm this because you see that once we broke above it, we had like, 8 straight red candles just surfing it to the downside and then popped right there. This is a very, very accurate trend line, okay? This isn't me like playing with trend lines because I'm bored. And I believe that's what most people end up doing with trend lines. And it's kind of unfortunate because I like to treat trend lines as like a tertiary aspect of my analysis. It's just quite unimportant until it's clear that it's a trend. When you're in crypto, it's very volatile. But when you're seeing these clean trend lines like what I'm showing you right now, you just can't deny it, you know? And a lot of the times what happens with a lot of technical analysts is they start to adjust things to fit a bias. And that's where it gets a little bit, off the rails. I really like doing my firmament arcs as a part of like the trend line analysis because those are absolutely incredible. I mean, a year and a half now of using them, and it's proven itself to be just such a unique and interesting way of doing TA, but also very, very accurate. So now that we're zooming in, I put the number 1 here in correlation to this trend line because we literally gravitated perfectly down to it and bounced. The second thing was this parallel channel. So you can see, I just pay attention to this bottom blue line as much as you can. And I'm going to move this up for you guys so you can see it as close as possible. You can see this wick, then a wick, then coming right back down to it. So far, this is somewhat invalidated, but again, we're in crypto, and just like it could be slightly to the upside and continue to show rejections, just having one daily close below or above does not count this as being invalid, okay? You can see the top was very accurate here. We have all these rejections, rejection, fake out, rejection, 4 days in a row, coming down, 4 days of rejections. This parallel channel is beautiful. Undeniably, on the volatility side, nearly as perfect as this red trend line that I showed you earlier. Now, the next thing would be the downside level, and the downside level on daily closes was around 21.3. This needed to be adjusted because the market is obviously still volatile, and you have these 3-4 days in a row there where we were seemingly having some issues before we popped up to the top of the channel. That coming down perfectly to test on this wick, and then again perfectly 2 days in a row testing at the same exact level. Why? Because it's $20,000. 20,000 is just a psychological level, and it is within reason of the prior all-time high of 2017. That is why that happened. So 20K on wicks or 1 or 2 daily closes is not anything to freak out about. It doesn't invalidate all of the other things that are going on. I'm just saying this because I've been doing this a while now, and I want people to not take levels so literally. For Trading Wolves, I was actually letting the people over there know that I was anticipating a break of downside after I saw this happen. So let me show you exactly what I was seeing here. I was telling people for weeks to pay attention to the 34 exponential moving average. Once we closed below the 34 exponential moving average, we got this death candle. Okay. Now, another thing that we've seen is the EMA band has flipped bearish. What do I mean by that? It was blue on top with the red on the bottom. Now it is blue on the bottom with the red on the top. So now we could actually anticipate, if we're going to bullishly move up, the first instant rejection level would probably be into this EMA band. So something to keep in mind. We are still a little bit more bullish than bearish, only because we do have this wolf cross still in play. We have perfectly bounced off of this support level somewhere around 20,800. Let's look at the Bollinger Bands, see if we're seeing anything. Okay, so we did have a daily close below the bottom side band, but today we're getting back into it. The bands, even though they've slightly expanded, they're still a lot more contracted than any bigger moves like this. Again, I've been more on the feeling that I'm not expecting a big a crazy volatile swing until after the end of the Shemitah, and we're still within our trading zone. We're still in the same trading zone that we've been in for 70 to 70 days. So yeah. And we also hit 25K. 25K was a very important target. I believe I discussed that in my last YouTube video. Topside band is going to continue to be rejections until we start to get maybe 2-day or 3-day closures above the topside band. So when I'm using Bollinger Bands, I really like to see 2-day or specifically 3-day closes above. And you can see right here, we came into the topside, 3-day rejections, came down, broke that middle smooth moving average. So 25K closures are probably what it's going to take for Bitcoin to run. Until then, you can see that the next level of rejections is probably going to be into 28K. So even after Bitcoin closes above something like 25K, I don't really think it's going to have the juice to make it higher than like the low 30s. It would really take something quite interesting to happen. And we know that there was the example of the 1987 Shemitah, which I shared with everyone, where the market just moved up all the way until the end of the Shemitah. That might be possible. But this environment right now is the perfect environment to learn. If I could share some words of wisdom with anyone right now, this is the perfect time to learn about the market, because you're learning the esotericism, you're learning, all of this Gematria Numerology applications. You're preparing yourself for the next cycle. But furthermore, you're in a very oversold market that still has more downside, and you're probably developing not only the educational side of it, but you're developing patience, and you're starting to see how it all plays through. So that is really something that I try to deliver in my work, and I try to deliver in the calmness of whatever I'm reviewing. So as for support, we're looking pretty okay. I would like to see tonight's weekly close get above, let's show you the weekly. I would like to see this weekly close get above 22K. I mean, I know it's asking for a lot, but with the CME opening up tonight, could be possible. Any weekly close below 20,800, and then I'm not feeling it. So a weekly close below 20,800, unless it's going to be a sharp fake out rebound, that would bring us down to our next level of around 19K. 19K to 18,600. And that would really, really look like the W setup for a bigger move. And I just don't know. I mean, I'm going to share a scenario with you guys just for fun, because I should move on to the next coin, but I really think this scenario might be fun for you guys. Oh, shit. Look at that parallel. There's a couple of things we're seeing here. Perfect touch points on the support. Perfect parallel channel. It's gorgeous. Wow. Okay, so you could see right there, still bear flagging. Okay, this is good. I just wanted to find a clean chart and show you guys a potential scenario on a more macro. So this would be amazing if something like this happened. September full moon. When's the September full moon? September 10th, the day before September 11th. Shit. Yeah, so like this. I mean, I don't care where it starts from, but just like moving into that week, full moon. I'm making this up, by the way. This is for fun. Like right into the October new moon. What was that? The 25th? Right into the eclipse. That would be fucking hilarious. www.ridiculous.com. Turn this off a log. This isn't as fair, but I'm just going to go from wick to wick because I know we're in volatile country. Woo! So close. Holy moly. Yes. Don't do this at home, kids. No, I'm just fucking around. Yep. Yeah, that would be such a classic move. And then if this was to happen where we get the lows in sooner and then a bounce on the W with the measure move into the next rejection line, which is right there around those supports and right there around that smaller pullback, like a little backup phase before continuation, getting into 32, 33, imagine 33K before rolling over. That'd be so funny, man. Wow. I mean, don't hold me to this because this is just for fun, but this is not something I would be like weirded out about. Just Bitcoin prematurely coming into 19K one last time to just fuck a lot of people over, make people worried, scared. Are we going to keep going? And then it just bounces. And we actually have a post Shemitah bounce for like a month, just like we did in 1973. Okay. I should probably make a full video. I don't like making promises of like doing full videos just for stuff like this, but this is like crazy concept to think about. There's 19. I just want to show you what the hell I'm talking about. So you see here, 1973, we topped out in January. We came down. This is the end of Rosh Hashanah. We actually went up into October 30th. Like, let's look at the moon phases. Would you look at that? Right on the new moon of October. And then this shit just took a hit, you know? So coming down into late August, freaking people out, then recovery late new moon, slight pullback. Look at this. This is a W too, but this is on the Dow. Let me turn log off. Wow, this really hyperextended. This shit went up. I mean, it was within what? 2%? It was within 2%. So it's still a crazy measured move. Wow. Yo, that's possible, because if they repeat this 73 cycle, we nailed it, kiddo. Wow. That would be really amazing to have a post Rosh Hashanah pump. Just a little bit, all the way into October. So how many days away is that for us right now? Damn, I'm taking time on this, but I really just want to go over it. Are you serious? So the 20th of August was 66 days until this move, which is pretty hilarious because that was right in that transition time. Wow. So the 30th of August, pretty much into the monthly close, is going to be 8 weeks, and 8 weeks is 7 months and 7 days. And October 25th has the 77 date numerology too. Wow, this is a big possibility. I know it's something I brought up because I spoke about the 1973 move, and that would bring a really fatal crash in the November eclipse, or it would be seemingly something like a deep rejection, and that's how they like to do it. They like to end it in kind of euphoria. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna move on. I'm excited because that's fascinating. Okay, so speaking of firmament analysis, here we are in Ethereum, and you could see, oh my god, this is perfect. So look at this Ethereum arc. It's going from all of these rejections of the C word when it dumped. You're talking about 53 days. Then coming up into the first blow off top type of all-time high. Not a true blow off, but it's very spiky. And then we have all of these rejections on new all-time highs, followed by a cluster of trading rejections going about 35 days. Deeper correction. Then we're on the inside of the firmament again, maybe about 11 days. And since we've literally came and back tested it. So this was a perfect back test, guys. Now, I mean, we've seen that there is a possibility for us moving in up to October. And if that was the case, then I would anticipate Ethereum, if we're going to see Bitcoin get into 30. Sorry, I know this is sloppy because it's two fibs on top of each other. But if Bitcoin makes it to 33K, I think we could see ETH get into the golden pocket, at least 2,500. At least 2,500 to 3K. And we've already hit my target of 2,000, so I don't really care what happens next. The 22K was my next level, and that just has to do with the fact that we're in the year of 2022 and the levels are pretty clean. But if Bitcoin's going to go into that 33K region, then we know ETH is going to probably make it into this 25. And that would make a lot of sense too, because we have all these attempts at support here at 25 before the bear trap. That's a bear trap because it led to a new low. So with that being said, holding these levels and getting a close above this yellow line tonight would be ideal, because that was the support lows. So this is just a premature fake out back test of the firmament and potential bounce continuation. Again, we could have premature continuation only into 1800 for the new moon, and then roll over for the September full moon, make a new low, come down to 14, and then do that crazy W idea that I shared with Bitcoin. That would be amazing. That'd be amazing. So let's look at the TA, some of the technicals here. Okay, this is perfectly fine. I'm going to shut all this off. And you can see where we're trading at right now is the 200 exponential on this potential closure, the candle body. And then you could see we wicked down to the 8 simple moving average on the weekly. This 8 is really keeping it to the upside regarding the slope. So this looks fine. Yeah, this looks fine. I'm actually kind of feeling that we might do what I just said before. Like we might have a play that is bullish until the end of October. Something that just blows people's minds. All right, Ethereum. XRP, excuse me. XRP, really not a whole lot to go over here. I should probably just get to the other altcoins because this is just ranging exactly as we anticipated. We have that 33-cent level right here, and that is the local closure bottom. So you could see, let me get rid of these moving averages. They're just getting in our way. So we had this trend line. The moment we broke the trend line, big red candle. And where did we come down to? The prior lows. So this was the prior structural lows. And so far, we've had a perfect bounce off those levels. And this pattern right here, I mean, it could very well be like an awkward head and shoulders in play where we come up to this again and then roll down. Maybe do that fake out into September, like I said, and then just boop. Move it on up. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And then down to 17 cents. So yeah, that is beautiful trend line break. We knew our rejection level was going to be somewhere around 37 cents because that was the potential support here on this hold. And it was the rejection line every time we got up to it. So the fact that we just couldn't have concrete closes above that area was a sign that 37 cents was key. Also, 37 is a very amazing esoteric number when you do some multiplication. So we're going into Cardano now. I don't know when the last time I covered this. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. So with Cardano, we have a bearish fib pull from this level right here. So you can see rejection, bounce, potential bounce, and then once we broke below it, we knew that this was kind of a key level, 92 cents. I wonder why, like, we're getting 92. Oh, there you go, 29. So as above, so below. Ooh, this also has that 23 like Bitcoin. It has so many esoteric numbers. Wow. I don't feel great about this project though. I do think it's going to take part in some interesting government activity in the near future. But anyways, so big pullback here. We're talking about, 87%. I think this thing's going lower easily. Especially if we see ETH get back to $800, $900, I think it's going to really bring this shit down, probably to 29 cents. But thus far, it's actually perfectly hit this 1.618, this golden ratio, and this is a great pullback level. I would say that this bounce is probably a little bit hard to determine anything until we see what Bitcoin does, of course. But in the short term, we know that the high level's around 58 cents to 64 cents. So that's kind of your range where you want to pay attention to for any more continuation. Breaking above that still doesn't mean you're going to go much higher. Could be something like this. So regarding any fib pulls, if we're going to be analyzing this on just this move right here, it could potentially, depending on the way this market operates, if Bitcoin gets back to 30K, there's an opportunity for this to get back to 85 cents. I highly doubt it's going to make it back to $1 until probably like a year from now. But that's kind of great news because if it does roll over and get down to 29, 26 cents again, then that means just getting back to the dollar and you're looking pretty good, 300%. And 300% in under 6 months is very possible. So again, we're considering like the early November timeframe to like next July, August. That seems to be what the market likes to do, like a 1 year downtrend. Let's see, if you take from September on the highs and you bring it over 365 days, you see where that brings us right around that time frame. So cycles get slightly extended. I would say, 450 days is probably 450 to 500 days is the sweet spot. And anything around that amount of time frame, you're probably recovering back into a dead cat bounce or a golden pocket type scenario. So I just showed you it's somewhere into something like this. Let's just say we make it to 28. It's not going to change too much. About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But at this time, this has reached its premature lows. Like it's reached its sort of bottom territory, and unless Bitcoin wants to really do something weird, like go down to 17K soon, The odds are what we've seen is just a technical bounce level, moving us into a slight recovery for Bitcoin and a possible shakeout into the September full moon, which has a rebound that sends us into the end of Rosh Hashanah and past. One moment. And don't get it confused. I've been talking about lows or a bloody market at the end of Shemitah, and then you just heard me say, well, potentially we move up into the August eclipse. That still doesn't matter. Like within the August eclipse and the November eclipse, we can lose all of those gains and go really low. So when I'm talking about end of the Shemitah, whether it's a 1 month different or 2 months difference or 3, it's irrelevant. It's just about the cycle continuing a downtrend. You know, I hope that makes sense. And I hope I was clear on that in my Shemitah Decoded video. It's not to say that we're going to reach Rosh Hashanah and then just dump to hell. That is what's happened in a lot of cycles, but that's not meaning it always has to happen. We can see the lows come in slightly earlier, still fulfill the levels, and then rebound accordingly, as I said earlier. So Cardano, it's just hanging around its support level. I still think it could go lower depending on, how most cycles act. And in the short term, I mean, it's really range bound and not a whole lot to say, not really too anything exciting about it. And I think I'm going to get rid of all my Cardano on any bullish move next. I'm not really a big fan of the project at all. And I see my portfolio being healthier if I was to just get almost completely out of it. Let's move on to... Also, I'm kind of changing the way that I analyze everything. I'm going to be using this next Shemitah cycle to determine like what's to stay and what's to go. I think it's a perfect time to not be over diversified. It just makes operating in this market so much easier for people. Too much diversification is not how you win this game. I know people like to think that, but it's short-lived. Wow, Hex is really... Mama me. Okay, we're going to Singularity. Ooh, look at that wick. We're going to Singularity Net. This looks disastrous. I don't even know what to do on this thing. All right, I'm not making fun of it. It's just this chart is garbage. Okay, yeah, there you go. Ooh, this is no bueno. I mean, I maybe would have sold yesterday or whatever, couple days ago. All right, Singularity AGIX. Where do I begin? My God, look at this RSI. It's like a Batman head. Yeah, this thing is a retail shitcoin. I know that that's gonna offend some people, but fucking who cares? Garbage. Any chart that looks like that, I don't care I don't care what they're connected with. Okay, it's 405th. I've gone over this coin in the past. Yeah, this is not good. This is really not good. But welcome to the Red Pill Podcast. Welcome to the Red Pill Podcast, where I am not going to hide how I feel. Jeez Louise. Okay, is this 99% losses from top to bottom? Okay, it's still within 95. That's good. It just looks so bad. All right. Yeah. I think this is probably going to go to a penny. 2 pennies. 3 pennies. Batter up. Yeah, this is probably going to go to 2 pennies. 2 pence. Somewhere like there. Yeah. Like. That's it. It would be probably something like an M pattern. So I'll share how the play is. Okay, so you guys could be like, what are you talking about, Jordan? Well, here you go. I'm going to draw this line here. You can see how many days it attempted to hold this support before break. So we're looking at about 1 month. Big brutal break coming up into it, getting rejected. So this is confirmed resistance, which was a support. So that's a key thing to consider. Then I'm going to take the M off of the M break. off of just from this level down to these lows, and I'm going to show you what we're kind of looking at here. I'm not going to include this retarded wick because that's silly. Yeah, this thing's going real low. That's probably like what I would anticipate. Somewhere into the slight break of 1 penny for a moment, but probably concentrated between 1 penny and 2 pennies. Like concentrated, meaning we could get a wick like that like kind of breaks a penny, but for me, that would be a conclusion of this move to the downside. And if we were to look at that, that's about 98, 99%. And that's not weird because Ethereum lost 96% in the last cycle. So this garbage could definitely go to 99% down. I mean, look at this chart. It's horrendous. Now, if this can make it through the next cycle, it's going to have a fucking ridiculous rebound. Because the more beat and dumpy it is, the more pumpy it is. So, you're talking about a couple of 1,000% even on the automatic rally. Like that's how insane this could be. So, I do see this level probably being trouble just because of this cluster over here, and this cluster. So somewhere between a range of 20 cents maybe. And that would be amazing. I mean, geez, getting 2,000% not even in a bull cycle, like the recovery of a cycle. So even though I'm speaking truth on it and it's not so happy, yeah. I mean, if you've been in this thing since this area, which I bet most people are, if they have the project, that seems to be the trading fractal, somewhere around 22 cents to 32 cents. If you've dropped out of it and you're still holding, what difference does it make going a little bit lower? I mean, at best, if this was to come back into this level, it would be a sign to potentially consider de-risking. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we had something like this happen where we slightly break out, fake people out, and then just again go for the next move down. And that would just be like the bull flag, the bear flag kind of scenario, something like this. And then just break into the Q1 of 2023. So yeah, not the greatest looking thing. If I had this coin, I would have less than 1% of this in my portfolio. I wouldn't put this thing in my portfolio at all personally, but if I had it, I would keep it below 2% for sure. Now we're going to Shiba, another garbage chart. Okay. We're in horizontal trading range that seemingly now somewhat has some history. So here's our levels. And then we have right here. Perfect. Okay, so this is the first level that it's trapped in now, and the next level for it to come down to is probably somewhere here. This is like 1,000 zeros. I'm not even going to count it. Okay, and that'd be 90. Oh, yeah, this could go way lower. Okay, so if it can hold this level, the only reason I'm drawing that level is because there's clearly support there. There's clearly buy orders there regarding that last move. And with the higher high, coming back down into that level would not be weird considering most coins do that. Now, there's an issue here. If we break this level, we're probably going to move down really low. Because this was just a straight line breakout getting us to that territory in 2 trading days, kind of above that. So you have less than 1 week of trading anything below this level right there. So coming back down into that fractal, it's in the cards. Yeah, that would be 98%, 97, 98% for sure. But I would be looking at this level first, just to not be dramatic. I wouldn't be weird at all. I'm sure the 1618 is sitting around. Oh, okay. So it didn't even come back into that level. Probably be better to put it there, though, because you can see that there was kind of 2 trading days there and then this trading day here before it dumped. So that would be fair to put it at. Fuck, there's so many zeros. It's annoying to analyze. Okay, and then we did pretty much come within a fraction of a penny of the 1618. So that's great. That tells me that would be a good double bottom area, and then breaking that double bottom, I would anticipate move down to this, and then to hell. That's where this coin belongs to, because it's a meme. See, all of this kind of stuff, people are going to change their mind on it after the end of Shemitah. Like, they're going to completely change their mind. People had big communities built around this project, very similar to like XRP Army and stuff like that, because it did really well. But the whole market did well. I mean, there was projects that did so incredible. Aave, Theta. I mean, there's a plethora of coins that did really exceptionally well. And this one was an isolated incident, but it also got the press. It got lots of people talking. And sure, from where it launched, it made an incredible move in a very short amount of time. But it's not impervious to doing 90% losses or even going 99% down. Absolutely not. And I think when that move comes, people are really going to change their mind, and they're going to go back to the way they were in 2018 regarding the shitcoin conversation. Every cycle, somehow there's a little room for positivity for shitcoins, and my place on them is play them, play the game, but don't get connected with them emotionally. That's the problem here. Play the game, have fun with them, put a couple dollars in. It's like a casino. Have fun. If you know how to do TA and you know how to swing trade, or if you know how to scalp, have fun. I love when I hear people are able to make money and win trades. So don't take this personally. But when I was doing my portfolio reviews for the public, I was seeing people with 25% Shiba. All right? So the people that get mad at me when I talk about shitcoins, it's because they don't have any experience at the level that I do regarding watching people's portfolios get completely washed out because of making poor investment decisions, because it was based on the community and the hype around the coin. They get into projects at tops, and it's just pretty devastating. So the big thing here is when something gets hype, it's probably a time to sell and not to get involved in it. Meaning, you want to risk when no one else wants to risk. Stop risking when everyone else is willing to risk. It's a basic psychological practice. But stop being emotionally attached to these cryptos. It happened a couple of days ago on my live stream when I spoke about Hex at the very end, and a lot of people took it personally. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. A cult wants to protect the cult, and it's because they form these unconscious emotional connections to an intangible coin. It's it's dust. It's a private key. It's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's not your girlfriend, it's not your children. But people will defend the crypto that they have the highest on their portfolio more than they would defend their own best friend. That's how sick and weird this world is. People will defend the Bored Ape NFTs more than they would defend their own girlfriend. I've seen it. I know it. It's a psychological issue that people suffer from. And it's because they join the cult of the Hexicans or the XRP Army or the Link Marines or the Bitcoin Maxis or the this or the Shiba Inu whatevers. Stop that stuff. Like, you're going to continue to fuck up in this world and in this market specifically if you keep falling for that behavior. I know this is very brash for people, but this is what sets me apart from the rest. I'm not willing to compromise here. I'm here to get people self-empowered, make better investment decisions, and operate from where you're at financially and where your financial acumen is, and stop falling for the nonsense. Because yes, there's money to be made in anything in this world. Play the game. But if you don't even know the rules to the game, stop trying to play it. Okay? That's really what people struggle with. Learn the rules of the game so that you could break them properly. Until you learn the rules, stop trying to play the game like you're a professional. It's really rare for people to do the shitcoin market successfully. There is people who win it, but there is way more people who lose it. And when you compare to just buying and holding and dollar cost averaging over the long term, you're way more net positive at the end of the 5 years or 10-year time horizon than the people that get into markets and want to day trade shitcoins. So have fun. If you know how to do it and you've developed a skill, please do it, because I want you to develop skills and I want you to get better at things. My thing is just relinquishing the emotional connection to the coin, because it doesn't exist. It's literally dust. It's fairy dust, digital dust. It's ones and zeros. So the better you get at protecting yourself emotionally, the better you become as an investor holistically. And Shiba Inu was one of the biggest cult of cryptos that I've ever watched happen. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how instantaneously people started getting addicted and obsessed with this community and this project. I mean, it's really sad. But when this next move comes, we're going to see that kind of mentality go away, because it has to go away. Once people start losing too much, they don't know how to react, so they panic sell. And that's probably why this coin's continued to even drop this much thus far, even though it's so great, like a lot of people in their community says. Having 1 to 2% of projects like this is not a bad thing. When you start having 10% of your portfolio and stuff like this, that's when it starts to get pretty rough. So nothing really to say about this. Potential inverse head and shoulders could be in play. It's a very weird structure, but at best maybe up to this level right here. I'm not even going to say it because I can't read it. But somewhere into there could be possible with Bitcoin making it back to 30K. Say this is Mana, Decentraland. This is another one where it was like Metaverse came out and people started just jumping on like it was going to be the greatest project of all time. Since that really short-lived peak with the Metaverse launch, we're down 87%, so it's not horrible. But this chart has history, so that's a good thing, you know. But at best, we know that it's not the Metaverse thing that's helping this thing out. And if that was when people got in, then it's probably not feeling so good right now. Again, guys, you want to risk when no one wants to risk. Stop trying to risk when everyone's willing to risk because of a news drop. Just because the news comes out and makes an update doesn't mean that it's going to last long. That AMC stuff and all the GameStop, and it's all just to suck people in and make people put their attention on shit that is not long term. It's very quick and short-lived. And I get why people get into it, because they don't want to put in the hard work to learn a skill. They don't want to put in hard work to develop their own investment thesis. They just want to gamble. They want to throw some money in and hope for the best. And this was one of those projects that definitely went through that. But as a long-term holder of this project, you're looking all right. It looks great to me. There's not really a whole lot to say about this. It had a really long consolidation range before having 2 bigger peaks, somewhat of an SOS backup phase into a buying climax. I would call this the buying climax, and I don't think it's going to go higher than this for a couple of years. As for how much it's pulled back, there's more to go. Probably into this wick, into this territory right here would be a key level. I'll show you why. You can see rejections, spike, and then backtest. So that's a key level right there, around 37 cents. And let's pull some fibs and see what we're getting with this. So this would be a really bloody move to the downside, but I still think the first level to hold would be around 37 cents. After that, there is potential for this to come down, swipe into this region. And that's not weird because it's 97%. Coins can lose 99%. We could see clusters here, clusters here, clusters here, and then a bunch of sideways before pumping up. So it could even be something like a spring. All right. So when you're into Wyckoff, you have your buying climax, you have your selling climax. It could look something like this. Selling climax. Don't worry about the timing. Just pay attention to the structure. Then you have your automatic rally. Then you have your spring. Test. Test. SOS. Backup phase, new bull run. Okay, so that structure is very normal in an accumulation phase. Don't worry about the timing on the bottom, just look at the structure. So this moment, though, could last for 2 weeks. It's a very short moment, and it's good to start accumulation on selling climax and not wait for springs, because springs are too quick, and sometimes exchanges go down during springs, as opposed to selling climaxes give you more time to get in. Anyways, yep, this is very distributional, this kind of top right here. I could imagine a head and shoulders in play where it comes up into this level first and then comes down to here, and that would be your left shoulder, head, right shoulder, which would break you into 14 cents. So I think that is very likely. I think 14 to 15 cents is very likely. So I'm going to leave it at that, because really we're in a pivot week. We need to see how the rest of this month plays out. I'm going to be taking some time to really focus on finishing up my expansion mastermind course. And I want to take a little extra time as well to continue to analyze the potential post-Shemitah pump. something like I was showing you with that Dow Jones going back to 1970s, because that does look like a high possibility based on the repeatability of markets and the structure as a whole. So perhaps we've made it into this first peak, we're making our way down, and then we're on a slight recovery into the end of October. That would be absolutely amazing to see something like that happen, because even in the stock market, that brought us into a new slightly higher high. So today, that would be like us making it back to, maybe 35. That'd be amazing. That would really be seemingly bullish, but it would just be a bear trap. A bull trap. Excuse me about that. Bull trap. So it's a good time to end it. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. Went over a lot today. Lots of truths shared. And hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Again, never take any of this stuff personally. We're here to be self-empowered and not part of groupthink. We really want to break free from that kind of stuff so we could become better investors, even in the community. You never want it to be an echo chamber for any one specific belief system. That is very toxic, and we are not here to do that. We're here to be a collective of lone wolves, and this is our pack. You speak your truth, I speak mine. We come together and we make the best decision we can based on the research and the time that we put in. So I'll leave it at that. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Much love.